Welcome to the realm of intoxicating flavors and head-banging beer reviews.
Welcome to another episode of the Rare Beer Club. I'm your host, Ginger Yeti, and if you're new to the channel, the Rare Beer Club is a subscription club put out by the beermonthclub.com. I receive a box every month that contains 2 hand-selected beers. It costs about $60. I unbox the beers, and then I select one of the beers to review blind. I save the other beer for later. And this is the other beer. I should say I get this as a gift every month. It's an awesome gift. But this is the second beer from my last unboxing of the Rare Beer Club. And this here is Barrel of Monks Brewing Three Fates. There are always these big bomber bottles, and the Rare Beer Club does come with this cool paperwork that I about dropped that tells you all about the beer. And it says that this is a Belgian-style triple, although some people will call it a tripel. I don't know whether it's actually pronounced tripel or triple. I'm just calling it a triple. Maybe I'm ignorant. I don't know. It's 9% alcohol. Serving temperature is 45 to 52 degrees Fahrenheit. And suggested glassware is a chalice, goblet, or tulip glass. So I got this one right here. I'm not going to read everything on this, but I will read a couple things I think are cool. And I always post down below in the comments a link to this paperwork so you can read the whole thing for yourself if you'd like to. So, Barrel of Monks Brewing in Boca Raton, Florida was founded by a small group of good friends who wanted to follow the less frequented path of creating a U.S. brewery focusing exclusively on making Belgian-style beers. Sounds cool? The South Florida brewery opened in 2015 after the founding members had spent time in Belgium traveling about and learning how their favorite Belgian beers were created. You can visit Barrel of Monks' Boca Raton location 7 days a week. It features a range of Belgian-style releases, a dedicated food truck by Chef-Free Eats, and a bunch of special events throughout the year. At Barrel of Monks, we consider the triple to be the quintessential Belgian beer. Three Fates was the first beer we brewed when formulating recipes for our fledgling brewery back in 2013 and 2014. We brewed this beer no less than 20 times prior to opening, largely in search of the yeast strain that would give us the flavor profile we were looking for. Listen to that, some of you brewers out there in breweries. You got to keep brewing until you get the flavors in the beer correct. A beer and TK went out to a brewery the other night, and the beers were terrible. The brewery had just opened, and I can't believe they were serving what they were serving. I'm not going to name the brewery because they just opened. I hope they do well. I hope they get their shit together. But these beers were worse than homebrew. TK actually poured his out. I mean, it just wasn't good. So think about that. This brewery here did over 20 brews of one beer before they got it right. You've got to do that as a brewer. Back to the beer. The malt bill and hops are pretty straightforward when brewing a triple, but the yeast strain totally makes Belgian beer. There are many Belgian yeast strains to choose from. However, we settled on a fairly obscure strain that gave us just the right profile of phenolic spiciness and fruity esters, creating a totally unique triple that is easy drinking and yet full of flavor. This featured beer is a timeless Belgian-style blonde ale brewed to showcase floral notes, zesty yeast aromas, and stone fruit accents that draw you in to an end result with aromatic, fruity, and superbly drinkable. Three Fates pours a golden amber color capped by dense white foam that's very well retained. As we lean close to the opening of our glasses, we breathe in aromatics of stone fruit and pear blossoms, clove, white pepper, and honeyed brioche. After another swirl in the glass, more pronounced aromas abound with notes of caramel, floral hops, and tangerine citrus, with hints of bubblegum. The bouquet is centered and pronounced, washing over our olfactory senses and preparing our palates for the rich flavors to follow. Barrel of Monks Three Fates exhibits instantly recognizable flavors of ripe stone fruit such as peach, apricot, and yellow plums, with bright tangerine citrus notes closely following. After a sip or two, the spice notes come forward with gentle notes of clove and white pepper, followed by bready malt flavors with hints of caramel and honey. There are many layers to this triple ale, as the Belgian yeast bring in even more flavors of sweet spiced apples, traces of bubblegum, and white grapes. That honey malt flavor is prominent throughout, delivering a lively sweetness at its core, complemented by the yeast's hint of white pepper and delicate clove undertones. It boasts a robust malt-driven character that is nicely balanced by the yeast, resulting in an unexpectedly dry aromatic profile. You know, as I was reading this, I was thinking, Maybe I should start opening the beers first and looking for these things as I'm talking about them. But, you know, this is a work in progress, right? So on the back here, Three Fates is a barrel of Monkey's Abbey style triple made with a traditional recipe using only the finest European malts and hops. Malty but dry with a pleasant hop balance and spicy notes from the Belgian yeast. It is rich in flavor yet quaffable. There's that dumb word, quaffable. This beer is bottle conditioned and will have a small layer of yeast sediment at the bottom. Pour carefully into a stem glass. We recommend you leave the yeast sediment in the bottle. And this says Best Buy, May 24, 2027. Batch number 545. So I guess I could have aged this, but I'm not going to. Now this has this weird cap and wrapper and nonsense. It's probably going to cause me issues to open. See how well I can do on this. So far, so good. Get out my Rare Beer Club bottle opener. I hope there's no cork in this. That had a very loud hiss, some gun smoke. But it's not bubbling over the top, so that's cool. Just a nondescript gold crown. On Untapped, this gets a 3.83 with 5.1 thousand check-ins. On Beer Advocate, it gets a 92 outstanding with only 74 check-ins. Get a nose on it real quick. What am I supposed to be smelling here? I don't know about stone fruit or pear blossom. I get some white pepper. Or at least pepper. I don't know if it's white pepper, but it's at least some peppery. Maybe some breadiness. There is some fruitiness there, but it's very faint. I should have left more room in the glass to swirl it around a bit. Yeah, I'm just mainly getting pepper and a slight fruitiness. That's all I'm getting out of this. Maybe my nose isn't as refined as these people who write this paperwork. Sometimes I think they make that shit up. Color, that is a nice golden color. Can't see through it. Don't see anything floating in it yet. Had a nice white head that might have been about a pinky's worth. It's dissipated fairly quickly. Almost soda-like, but not quite. On the SRMs here, I would probably give that about a 4 on the SRM chart. You know, I said it had a nondescript crown, but the wrapper on the crown had this on it, said Barrel of Monks. See if I can remember to take a picture of that to put up there later. Oh. I have a hair in there. Dirty Glass Mafia. All right. And another hair. I really did just wash these glasses out. And that is cat hair. Excellent. I'm sure that adds to the flavor. Let's find out. Cheers, everybody. I can see the yeast sticking to the side of the bottle. Very effervescent. That is super carbonated. That carbonation, that is just all carbonation. Actually makes it hard to taste the flavors. This is 9% alcohol. Did get a slight bit of booziness, but I think that might be from the effervescence just like releasing the alcohol as it's releasing the carbonation. That is so carbonated that is hard to pick out any flavors. That's surprisingly carbonated. Wow. It is fruity. It is dry. I don't know if I can pick out the fruits. I do get some of that pepper. Maybe you get some of the apricot. I don't know about tangerine or peach. Yellow plums, I don't even know what a yellow plum is. But I do get the pepper for sure. There's a little bit of bready malt in there. Maybe some honey. It's definitely Belgian, like a Belgian yeast. You get that Belgian yeast flavor, that fruitiness. Slight bitterness in there. Oh, excuse me. Wow, it's just way too carbonated for me. I mean, this is another one of those beers that's just over-the-top carbonation. I do not like the over-the-top carbonation. I mean, this is one of those things that I was looking forward to. I've had some other triples in the past that were really good, but this is just too carbonated for me. Surprisingly, for the Rare Beer Club, I'm going to give it a let it play. I don't know, it's just way too carbonated for me. I'd love to be able to pick out all these flavors that they talk about in the paperwork, but the carbonation just gets in the way. Maybe if you age this for a couple of years, carbonation would die down. Maybe I need to buy one of those syringes so I can get rid of some of that carbonation and try to pick up those flavors. This is just way too carbonated for me. I'm just going to give this a let it play. Rare Beer Club, I really appreciate all the beers you always pick out. You usually pick out bangers, but this one's just not for me. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if somebody gave it to me because it is a cool beer to have. It's a unique beer. It's just too much carbonation. And with that being said, embrace the adventure.